Hey guys, what's up? Today I am doubly excited because I'm finally getting to play with the Melt Impulsive palette. This little baby right here. And I'm also getting ready to go to a launch party that I think is going to be really, really cool. It is the VALFRE Electric Garden palette launch. So VALFRE is coming out with their first makeup product ever, and it is an eyeshadow palette called the Electric Garden, and I was lucky enough to be invited to it. So I'm getting ready to go to that, and because of that, I kind of want to make myself up like a little VALFRE girl. So I will have stars on my cheeks, and I'm going to do the red around the eyes and on the cheeks thing. But yeah, I'm just really excited to play with this baby. I've been wanting to for, I want to say, over a week. Also, I must note, this is the first PR package I've ever received from Melt. Everything else that I have from Melt, I bought with my own money. This time, they reached out to me to send me this and a few of their eyeliner pencils, and I got so excited. Okay, so I'm gonna start doing my makeup and I'll talk about the palette while I'm doing it. But before I begin, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I upload videos every Tuesday and sometimes on the weekend. Alright, so this is what the palette looks like, and I'm gonna insert a better shot of it right here. It's got two sides to it. It's almost like two palettes in one. This thing is a beast. When I first got it, I picked it up and I was like, whoa, it is really heavy. That's like the one and only downside to it is the weight of this, and you can see it's pretty thick as well. And it's like this because the design is pretty cool, honestly. It's like little steps. For every row, it's a different step, and I don't know if they did this to be like a metaphor, because this is kind of celebrating all the years of Melt's existence. So you can see pictures of the owners here celebrating and like their milestones and stuff. And all the names of the shades have to do with the boss babes, with the two owners of the company. And they launched this palette to celebrate the company, to celebrate their milestones, their successes. And I think this is an awesome way to celebrate. So I'm going to read you real quick what they say about the palette. We created a palette inspired by us. This 18 shade palette features two sides that tells the story of Melt Cosmetics and the customers who made this dream a reality. The right side of the palette is inspired by the early years before Melt and the friendship between co-founders Laura and Dana that started it all. It showcases cool tone shimmers and holographic foils. A party on the eyes, these 9 metallic shades packed to the brim with pearl are even crazier than our boss lady's wildest nights. If you made it to one of our Melt parties, you know what we mean. The left side of the palette features 7 dangerously bold mattes in vibrant colors and 2 vivid shimmers that were inspired by our love for unique colors. But more importantly, they were inspired by our fun and fearless customers, our Melt fam, who are unapologetically themselves just like our boss ladies. We live our lives like we run our business, impulsively. I think with this palette you can really tell that it's a celebration of them and their customers and kind of the Melt culture that they've built. So I think this is awesome. I don't know if the steps are kind of like to represent their milestones. I really don't know. But the fact is, it does make the palette very, very bulky and very heavy. So this is probably a palette that I'm not going to be traveling with, which makes me kind of sad because the colors in here are gorgeous, but it will most likely live in my drawer. I am drawn to this side way more than I am to this side. The right side, I look at it and I'm like, they're nice. They're pretty. But the left side has me drooling uncontrollably, wanting to do a million looks with this palette, and I probably will be doing a lot of looks with this palette. So today, I think I am going to stick to this side of the palette, mostly because of what I'm going to wear and because I want to do a VALFRE girl that has warmer tones around the eyes and all that. So that's what I'm going for today. As you can tell, I've already done my foundation, concealing, etc. So I'm just going to go straight into it. And I've prepped my eyes with concealer and powder. So I kind of want to use this shade all over my lids, and I threw the box away, but I remember reading on the box saying that this color specifically is not meant to use around the eyes. I think because it can stain. I think it's probably that situation where to make the formula vegan, they use dyes that can stain the eye area. And so per the FDA, they have to state that it's not for use around the immediate eye area. But I'm just gonna go for it. Don't do this at home. Or if you do, be warned. Okay, I'm just taking it on my finger and I'm just going to pack it on my lid. I actually don't know if this is gonna go with what I'm gonna wear, but I thought of this look specifically for this palette. These two would definitely match what I'm wearing, but I really wanted to go for like a red eye situation because VALFRE. Then I'm going to take Dream Big on a little fluffy brush so I can take that into my crease. And I already own one palette and one eyeshadow stack from Melt, so I'm pretty used to their formula. From the swatches I did, I think that these perform exactly like their other eyeshadows. Some of the shimmers are more buttery and creamy, if that's a way to describe it, than others. Some are more tightly packed, and they vary in finish too. Some are like really high shine, others are more like a satin finish. So I think that they do have a good variety here in the palette. But one thing that to me, I thought if they're gonna make one side all shimmers, why not make this other side all mattes? Like, why did they include two shimmers in this side? That's just me. I think it's a little odd when you see one side that's just one texture and then the other side have a mixture of textures. I would have gone with all matte and all shimmer. But the color choice is pretty. The shimmery brown on the left side honestly surprised me. It is the most gorgeous cool tone brown. It is completely cool toned and very, very shimmery. I don't usually go for brown shadows, but I'm probably going to do a look with that one. Now I'm just going to take a clean brush and blend this out. And this is reading way redder on my skin than I thought it would. I thought it would lean more towards like a terracotta, which is good because I wanted a red shade. I'm going to go for the like traditional VALFRE look with the very heavy blush and a very rounded eyeshadow shape. And I'm also not going to fill in my brows. And I'm extending the eyeshadow on my bottom lash line quite a bit. I definitely want to make like a circle around my eye. Now I'm going to go in with the color Boss Lady on a little pencil brush. I'm really going to intensify that lower lash line. Oh boy. That is very, very pigmented. So I'm just going to blend that out as best I can. Take the other little brush with some Dream Big on it. Pack it on top. Don't want to go super dark with this look. And I'm also going to take a little bit of that into my crease. Really making sure that I'm like drawing that circular shape. Blending that out a bit. The other thing that I noticed about this palette that I really liked is that it complements their other existing palettes and stacks really well. So for example, there's blues in this, but they're not at all the same as the blues in the Blueprint stack. But I bet that if you use the Blueprint stack with this palette, it would work really, really well. And the same goes for the greens in here and the greens in the Gemini palette. They are not at all the same, but they can definitely be used together, and I am definitely going to want to do that. I think what I want to do for the inner corner highlight is go in with Poppin' Bottles, which is the very sheer shimmery one. It's almost like a topper. And this one's definitely more tightly packed than the other shimmery ones. And it has like a green shift to it, which I thought could look really cool against the red. Tempted to use it wet. So I'm going to wet my brush. See how that does. I think it definitely intensifies it a little bit. I realize that I'm looking kind of dead right now. Kind of like My Chemical Romance Helena phase. But listen, we'll get there. Now I'm going to move on to the cheeks, but the eyes are not done yet. I think I'm going to go in with the NYX Crimson HD Blush. This is just a very, very red blush. I'm probably going to mix a few different colors to achieve the effect that I want. And I'm going to place it right under my eyes. Really kind of connecting it to the eyeshadow. Whoa, I just picked up a lot. This blush is quite pigmented, so I'm trying to be very light-handed with it. I'm going to take it on a smaller brush so that I can be more precise with where I concentrate it. And then I'm also going to bring it onto my nose, onto the bridge of the nose. Now I want to go in with a coral blush. This is from Catrice. It's the Defining Blush in Love and Peach. And I'm just going to add that over top to kind of make it look a little more natural and to blend the edges out. I realize this is very intense, but listen. I'm going to be a VALFRE girl tonight. I'm going to add a little bit of this blush to my chin, which I realize you can't see. I'm also taking this on to the sides of my temple. Now that I've done this really intense blush, I'm going to go back into my palette and I'm going to dip into Dream Big again, this time on a fluffier brush. And I'm just going to kind of intensify the outer edge of the eyeshadow, really kind of blending it into the cheek so that it just kind of disappears. And there's no harsh demarcation between cheek and eye. And I actually kind of want to bring that up into my brows. I feel like there isn't enough color up here. It's all kind of like limited to down here. Okay, so the more I'm looking at this, it's not going to match what I'm wearing. And I really want to match my makeup to my outfit today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tone down this blush because I want it to be more orange than red. So I'm just going to take some foundation onto my beauty blender and I'm going to hope this works, but I'm just going to tone this down a little bit. So you still get that rosiness kind of coming through, but I definitely want my blush to be more orange than red. Otherwise, it's not really going to match with my outfit. So I'm already afraid that my eyes aren't really going to match. I should have just gone with an orange look. But I wanted to be like super traditional VALFRE girl. Okay, that's it's a little bit better. I think I'm going to try the color Rule Breaker. I have a feeling it's going to be really dark and really strong as well. I'm going to take that around the eye. Yeah, see, it is really dark and strong. Oh boy. And then I think I'm going to take my Creepy Cute palette from Strobe Cosmetics and I'm going to take the color Third Eye. I'm going to use that as my blush so that it's more orangey in tone. That's a little bit better, a little less harsh than the red. But if I didn't have to go out, I probably would have gone with a full red face. But I do want my makeup to match my outfit. Oh, I swear to God. Yes, I know I have to change the battery, but we have super, super high vaulted ceilings, so I can't reach it. Can't reach my fire alarm. So sometimes it chirps, and it drives me insane. I'm also going to take that on my chin a little bit. Very rosy. I think I'm going to do a little bit of contouring. I'm going to go in with the Koki contour palette. I'm going to use this shade over here. I'm just going to contour a tiny, tiny bit. Might try the shade in the middle too. It's a little bit lighter. Oh, it's really pigmented. What have I done? Kind of like it better without the contour. I am a mess today. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to contour my nose just a tiny bit. I'm going to take this middle color right here. And I kind of want to do, I think, a little like button nose situation. So I'm going to take that and just kind of make a line across the tip of my nose. And I'm just flattening out my brush so that I get like a straight line. And then just doing that. And that creates like a little button nose effect. Kind of want to take the orange Rule Breaker on my pencil brush and just take it into my crease. Just to bring a bit of that orange into the eye as well. I realize that that is super dark and super intense. Wow. So yeah, if you're not used to melt shadows, they are super pigmented. I don't know if they're like subculture from ABH level pigmented. I mean, they are, but they're a lot easier to work with. I'm also going to take Rule Breaker on my fluffy brush and just dust it under my nose. Use it to contour as well a little bit. Just kind of ties everything in together. Then I'm also going to use it under my bottom lip to make it seem poutier. Then I also want to take it onto the outer corners of my lips. Do that little shading that I always like to do. Make sure it's blended out with the little fluffy brush. Don't want it to be super harsh. I'm also going to take a little bit of Third Eye just to blend out the shadow here on my brow. Now I'm going to go ahead and line my eyes. I'm going to be using the Quick Flick for this. I used this in my Huda Beauty Neon palette review for the first time and I actually really liked it, so I'm going to use it again. Boop! There's a little flick and then I just going to connect the dots. I am going to extend it out a little bit though. And I like doing my liner just to the center of my eye. I don't like bringing it all the way in. I'm going to come back to the eyes later. Now I'm going to do my star freckles. And if you've watched my VALFRE Devil look, then you'll know how I'm going to do this. If you haven't watched that and would like to, I'm going to leave the link up here. It was part of my Halloween series last year. So I think I'm going to do 5 stars, a top row with 3 and then 2 at the bottom. And the way I like to draw my stars is first I draw little reference dots of where the tips are going to be. So you can barely see them. They're just little reference dots. So this way I can make sure they're all the same size. These are where all the tips of the stars are going to be. And I can also figure out their placement. Then all you do is kind of connect the dots. So I'm basically starting the line from the dot and then going halfway and then making a little angle and turning towards the other dot. The star's a little wonky, but I can fix it up. All I have to do is play with the thickness of the line a little bit so that you can rearrange where the tips are. So I fixed up the lines and that's one star done. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do all the other ones across my face and I'll be back. 5 hours later, my freckles are finally done and I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my eyes. As I mentioned before, Melt also sent me some of their eyeliners and I'm gonna be using the color Porcelina in my Waterline. This is a white and I'm not sure if it's a shimmery white or a matte white, but it's a white nonetheless. I don't want to risk messing up the stars or the eyeshadow, so I'm gonna take a Q-tip so I can pull my lower lash line down so I can line my Waterline. It's not a super intense white. Oh yeah, it does have shimmer running through it. So it's white, but it's got some like glitter running through it, it seems. Oh, okay. It definitely works a lot better once you warm it up on the back of your hand. And you can build it up to get a better payoff. And in the spirit of trying new Melt products, they also sent me one called 818, which I'm going to use along my lower lash line. And from what I can tell, it's just a dark burgundy, so it just matches kind of the eyeshadow that I've got going on. But I'm going to take it as close to the roots of my lashes as possible to really intensify that, and then kind of blend it into the liner of my top lash line. See, that just helps add a little bit more definition to my bottom lash line. Then I'm going to go in with some Hourglass Caution Mascara. I really want to make sure to load the bottom lashes with this. I love this mascara for my bottom lashes. It makes them super intense, super long, super doll-like. So whenever I want to really intensify my bottom lashes, I always reach for this mascara. Look at that. Look at how intense it makes my bottom lashes. And my top lashes too, but I find that this works really well on the bottom lashes, especially I think because of the wand. It's a slimmer wand, so it gives you more control of your application. And this is a bit of a pricier mascara, but honestly worth every freaking cent. This is definitely a product that I plan on repurchasing once I finish up the tube. Okay, so I'm gonna leave fake lashes for very last. I hate wearing them, so I like to wear them the least amount of time as possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my lips. I'm gonna start the outline of my lips with the Black Moon Cosmetics lipstick in the color Grave. I unfortunately don't have any Melt lipsticks, otherwise I would use a Melt lipstick for this look. I'm just gonna take that on a little lip brush, as always. And the VALFRE girls have a very, very cute lip shape. Kind of like what I usually like to do anyway. It's very, very curved and pouty, but a little bit more exaggerated. Okay, I'm kind of obsessed with this lip shape. I love that it's super like heart-shaped. I'm just going to even out the bottom lip real quick. Okay, and then to fill it in, I'm going to go in with my Bite Beauty lipstick that I made at the Lip Lab. This is called Pompkin. This is just like a really dark orange. It's a very kind of reddish orange. They have a similar color to this in their normal collection called Arrowroot. It's just slightly lighter. I might actually pop a little bit of that in the center because I do own that one. Oh, this is cute. If you ever do go to a Bite Lip Lab and you want this color, you can just say to them that you want to make one of the colors that Pompberry made, or you can call in and order it. I don't make anything off of it. It's just you can replicate this color. Or this other one that is a pretty close dupe to Cider from Black Moon Cosmetics. I'm just going to blot this off real quick. And then I'm going to take the Bite Beauty Amuse Bouche lipstick in the color Arrowroot. I got this during the Sephora sale. I think it cost me like $12 or something ridiculous like that. And then see, it's just slightly more orange. My color is a little bit more red. So I'm just going to apply that in the very center. Not that that made much of a difference, but brightens it up a little bit. Now to finish off my eyes, I'm going to go in with the Black Moon Cosmetics Libra lashes on my top lash line and the Elevation Lashes Freedom 10 on my lower lash. I'm going to use, I think, 3 of these on each side. While I'm still waiting for the glue to dry, I'm going to go ahead with the Milk Makeup Longwear Gel Liner in the color Boss. It's the black one, just so I can tightline my top lash line because I am wearing lashes, so I try to tightline when I do wear them, especially because I didn't bring my liquid liner all the way to the start of my eye, so this just helps to hide that lash band a little bit more. Now I'm going to finish getting ready. I'm going to put my wig on and everything, and then I'm going to come back to show you the final look and to share my final thoughts. And this is the finished look. I think it turned out cute. I think the lashes definitely add a very kind of like drawn and cartoony look to it, which is really what I was going for. And I feel like a little VALFRE girl. So mission accomplished, I guess. I don't know if I did the Impulsive palette justice. I used 5 colors out of 18, which is not a lot, but I will definitely be doing other looks with this palette. I feel like I really like this palette because the colors really go with their existing collections. I think this is kind of like a companion palette for all their other palettes, and it makes sense with something like this because this is really a celebration of all their other creations. So I think it was really well thought out. To me, these colors look like they could have been developed for those other collections, but ended up not making the cut. And then they made one palette with all the kind of plan B options. Not that I'm saying that these colors aren't amazing, but it just feels like they could belong to other collections. The formula is consistent with what I know from Melt. It's consistent with what I expected out of their shadows. Super highly pigmented, super easy to work with. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm a fan. The value of the palette is $65. Melt tends to be on the pricier side, but the quality is there to back up that price tag. You also have to remember that things cost more for indie brands to make than bigger brands, so they are going to usually have a higher price tag. But for example, their Melt Gemini palette has 10 colors and it's $58. So I think 65 for 18 colors is not bad at all considering the price of their other products. So yeah, I could ramble on all day about how much I like this palette. I honestly want to challenge myself to use the right side because to me it is a challenge to come up with something with this kind of color scheme. It's definitely out of my comfort zone, but I do want to push myself to create something with that, to really get out of my comfort zone, create something with the other side of the palette. Maybe I'll do that in another video and see how it works out. So that's it for today. I have to head out to the VALFRE party. I really hope you liked today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my patrons who support me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!